Okay, here we are again with my little mastermind fiendish plan of having the most incredible women that I know in my life on my Instagram for a time to inspire you guys and to have really good, strong conversation. So I hope you guys will hang out for this. This is going to be a really amazing, inspired, 30 to 40 minutes with the one and only Gretchen Jensen. She is from Texas. She's currently living in Utah. She is Miss USA 1989. She was the second runner-up Miss Universe. She is just an absolute gorgeous light. So the whole premise of this series called Champagne Supernova is for me to find and interview the women in my life that are supernovas. So essentially a star that is in its most brightest, most vibrant, most extraordinary, explosive phase of life. And I'm here to find those people, bring them here to you, and have them join us and share their journey and exactly how they have come into themselves. Okay, so I really feel so strongly that there's so many people out there in the world that just are living sort of a closeted, hiding in plain sight type of an existence, right? We know those people. They're just not living into their truth. They're not walking the walk. They're not at their brightest, most vibrant. So I'm here to kind of walk through these stories of these individuals. Gretchen, you can't join. What's going on? You just have to hit requests to join. There you go. Technology. I hit accept. You let me know if it's working.
I was like, wait a second. What's that button do? What's that button do? What's that button do?
It's all good. Good. It's all good. This is casual. Right. This is casual.
Look
not
at this
really.
background. Is
no,
this
it's not.
The ugliest
We're never casual. It's okay. It's okay. You're a working girl. So tell everyone where you're at today. I'm so grateful, first of all, that you're here and that you're willing to share your extraordinary story of your journey. Guys, I didn't even get to the meat of it. She's a cancer survivor. Like she's a single mom of 5. Like what? So when I say that this girl, this woman that is in front of you is one of the most inspiring people that I know, she's such a gift to me in my life. She's just here to share some of that journey of like, how do you own your confidence? How do you believe in yourself at a very young age? How do you stand on a stage and get judged by people? I mean, literally down to every last little inch of your body. And how do you walk away from that and win and keep your poise and keep your groundedness and then go into TV and be in the television industry for 30 years and survive that gauntlet of things, and then, have a family and be a mom and still, crush it at that and survive the ups and downs of divorce and, those kinds of things. Like I just have such an enormous amount of respect for you. And we're going to get into some of the questions that I feel like are really on me to ask. I just want to take the community that I have here and pull them out of their shells a little bit and say, when you look in the mirror every single day, are you living the voice that's way down in your gut that says, I want more, I am more, I'm more than this? Are you listening to that? And if not, why? So Gretchen, tell everyone where you're joining from today and just a little bit about your background.
So I would love to turn this camera around and show you this beautiful view of the clouds and the mountains from my office. We are pre-production right now for season 13 of a show called Relative Race. That's all about joining people with biological family they've never met on a 10-day race across the U.S. So the choreography of the pre-production is fixing to get real. So I've been in...
I heard a little Texas coming out there.
I know. Sometimes it does. I'm sorry, y'all. But, I've
It's
been
okay.
on camera for 30 years. This role, I'm actually in production. And so it's just fun to learn all aspects of your craft. I have enormous respect for, any field of what people do with passion. I love to see people happy in what they're doing. I always tell my kids, you find what you love and then you figure out a way to get paid doing it.
Absolutely. Do it. My uncle used to say this all the time. Do what you love and the money will come.
Amen.
Do what you love and the money will come. It's just, we're all just these vibrational energy beings, these light beings. And when you show up to work happy and thriving or anywhere, if you show up to the grocery store and you're just like engaging, you're making eye contact, you're asking people with sincerity how they're doing, like you are passing your energy to them and vice versa. So we all have such an opportunity with strangers and our families every single day to elevate the world. And so I guess that's really the point of this series too, was for me to kind of do my part to energetically just inject the community that I have with some really good juju. And you're one of those people that I could not wait to have on.
Just sprinkle the juju that I do every morning. I've been doing this for a couple of years. Is I write down my intentions of the day. Doesn't have to be major stuff. And I've learned really the formula of having a really good day starts with something like this. I wish to be surprised and delighted in my day. I wish to recognize the beauty and the love all in my day. I wish to recognize how the universe is throwing up stuff in front of me for my own pleasure. I wish to have,
oh my God, we're just walking around just half asleep. We're so sucked into our devices and our problems and our struggles that we don't see or recognize so much beauty.
Another thing, you and I, we've talked about this too, especially in business. I write down, I wish to have excellent communications with people. And what that does is, as you're flowing through, and granted, we talk with people every day, whether it's business or our children or, whoever. When you ask for those great conversations, you get success. I mean, really the secret to anything in success, whether it's in your business or your relationships, is to start with how you want to feel about things. I can't change what I want you to do in order to make me happy. That is very conditional and temporary, and we know that doesn't work. But what does work is if I'm happy, I'm attracting happy. If I'm successful, I'm attracting success.
And part of that intention, it's like, I want to live a life on purpose, not on accident. I don't want to just wake up and whatever the hell happens to me just happens to me. Like, I want to wake up, like you said, with that intention to wake up and then literally get woke, like, to all the beauty that's around me and to be in full experience of what life really has to offer, and to be aware of all of the things that are the opportunities that are just always being put in front of us. And why, by asking for it, asking for goodness to come your way, you really are inviting that energy to you. And you know what they say, you're the add sum of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. And if those people are vampires and they are sucking you dry of your energy and they are not adding value or money in your bank or energy into your energy tank or whatever, then what are we doing? We need to just run a little audit and evaluate where we're at and like what in our hearts do we really want out of this life? I mean, and I'm sure that we could get into a discussion here as well because of you being a cancer survivor, but like I hit 45. And it really, like, I love being my age. Don't get me wrong. Like, aging is such a gift. It is denied to so many. I mean, we've all lost people at a way too young age who are just robbed of an existence to live into the, latter part of their lives. And that sucks. However, when you start to think about like, man, shit, my life is half over. My life is half over. So what am I going to do with the second, act of my life? And how do I want to what kind of impact do I want to make on my kids, on the people that are around me, and what kind of ripple effect can I have? And it's not just about making money. I think that truly at the heart of it all, we just need to remain connected to one another, and that's difficult to do when we feel like we're connected through technology, which is beautiful. It can also separate us from the actual conversations, the actual real time that we spend together, hugging one another, those kinds of things. Do you know that Gretchen and I have spent about a year in relationship with one another, but have never physically hugged. And when that day comes, it's going to get ugly.
It's such that to me, isn't that a testimony of feelings and emotions? When you can have the deep respect and love and care for someone that you've never met, and you can feel that way when you.
But what that is, the ingredient is that you were willing to offer your real self to me, and I was willing to vulnerably offer my real self to you, and that's letting walls down and offering trust to someone that you really don't know. And that's how connection is created.
See,
that's the only way
part
it's
of
created.
The surprise and delight of each day. Just a background, y'all. So about a year ago, about this time last year, I had just finished my cancer treatments, and of course lost hair. I had Tina, my wig, and I wore Tina. I don't know why. I don't know why I called her Tina.
God love Tina.
Tina.
I love it.
I was still wearing Tina while my hair was growing. And if you understand social media, you don't really have people just pop up unless you follow them. But Katie shows up, and I'm thinking, I'm looking at, thank you.
Who this bitch? Girl.
But I didn't even know, I didn't know anything about you. I just was looking at your hair. I know that's so surface, but here's how alignment works. I had a need. I had a desire. I had an intention of what can I do when I'm at the stage where my hair will grow enough? How can I feel that confidence again? You showed up in my realm because I asked for something like that. And so I think when you appreciate relationships, whatever the depth they are, and you recognize that relationship exists in your life because you attracted it. So while your hair, was the first intro, and then other things, now the hair is so not even a part of our relationship. Yeah. It was just the invitation.
So secondary. Yeah. It was just that one little quirky connection. So I guess, for all we struggle with the algorithm, we can give some props to the fact that it does track hashtags and things like that. So I know it's funny. It's never lost on me that I have on my team with Saint, and then even just in the women that I color match that are my customers, I would say 75% of them are all pixies.
Yeah.
And that is such a cool little data point that I acknowledge, because I'm like, okay, this internet thing is kind of working out a little bit, because you want to attract the people that are, in alignment with you. And then to have a relationship like this just blew
I want to mention something about pixies. I had a pixie because I didn't have a choice.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? People are like, oh, you cut your hair. And I was like, no, it actually grew. And then they go, what? But I had long hair for 15 years, long hair. And I prepared myself before chemo that I'm going to lose my hair. And I had Tina. So I had a backup of my feelings and reserves that was ready to move forward. I didn't prepare in a way that I was going to allow any kind of ill confidence to come. But as my hair was growing back and I took Tina off and I embraced my cancer pixie, that was a whole new boat that I stepped in of confidence. Because, for whatever reason, we hide behind what we feel is secure. And yet the thing that's funny is you didn't know me from Adam. You didn't know Tina wasn't me. You didn't know when my hair was going back that was from cancer. It doesn't matter. And so I think what I learned from all of that is the courage that it takes to show up to be your authentic self is really what beauty is. It doesn't matter. Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's
so
really
profound.
not. It's, you know, even with our Saint makeup, I always want women to know, hey, this little stuff that you're slapping on your face is not going to cure what's messed up right here or right here. This is for fun.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's creativity, right? The style choices that we make are in alignment with the expression of who we outwardly want to be from the inside out, right? So, but if you're not clean on the inside about who that is, executing the exterior can get messy and hairy, and it just doesn't feel, it's like walking around in a meat suit that doesn't fit. So, you know, I agree with you. The color of your hair doesn't matter. The length of your hair doesn't matter. The amount of makeup that you wear doesn't matter. The clothes you wear don't really matter unless it feels inauthentic. When it feels out of sync with the person that you are within, that's when it can get difficult. And so I think some of what I'm creating in this next couple of months is this beautiful little style journey that's gonna, like, I don't know. I'm 45 years old. I grew up not with Pinterest. I grew up with like Cosmo and Vogue and Teen Beat and whatever. And we used to determine what our style choices and preferences were based on like those silly little quizzes that we would take. Like, take this quiz and you'll understand who, you know, like what kind of makeup girl you are and what kind of whatever. And that was just fun. You know, it was just fun to do that kind of thing. So there's a little bit of that I'm infusing into this course that I'm building, where it's like superficially it will seem like just this like fun little quirky little superficial style journey, but underneath it, it really is meant to unpack a couple of big questions. And these are big questions that I would like to ask you. So these are questions that I usually reserve till the end, but I kind of feel like just because of this way that the conversation's rolling, I'm just going to give you the heavy all at the beginning. And then we'll unpack it and we'll see where we land with it. So, okay, so Gretchen, so for the people that are just joining now, this is Miss USA 1989. This is the second runner-up Miss Universe. She's been in television for 30 years. She's a cancer survivor. She's a single mom of 5. Like, she's gone through so many like of life's gauntlets. She's been under a microscope on a stage in a bikini. She's been asked hot questions in front of large audiences and TV, you know, she's been a TV anchor. I mean, she's done it all. Okay. So in this moment of your life, there are 3 things that I want to know. How do you want to be seen? How do you want to be heard? And what do you want to leave people with? These are questions that I have been encouraged by my life coach to ask myself over the last 18 months. And it really has gotten me to a place where I want to be so clear with how I'm communicating to the outside world, because how I want to be seen in terms of like, what do I want to say? What do I have to offer? What's the impact that I want to have? And am I communicating that clearly enough to the world about what is meaningful to me? And then how do I want to be heard? And then what do I want to leave people with? That's really just so I'd love to ask you those 3 smoking gun questions. And I do it whether it's on like the large scale of like, okay, so here's my social media platform and this is my like, sort of like my website, I would say, like this is a snapshot of what I'm offering. Like that's a big choice, but I can even ask myself that on like a very micro level, like I'm walking into a meeting with somebody, right? Even just this right here. Hey, I'm going to do this live with Gretchen. How do I want to be seen? How do I want to be heard? What do I want to leave them with? Like on a very small scale, I'm routinely asking myself those questions so that I am being as authentic as I can be. So take any which way you want to slice it and give it to me.
Here we go.
Here we go.
You know, it's funny because I'm 58 and I consider myself really now for the first time understanding the purpose of my life. You know, I think you go through times where you're kind of in a robotic motion. It doesn't mean you're not enjoying things. It doesn't mean that you don't love being a mom, but you get into schedules and routines and you kind of just repeat. What cancer taught me was to really value me as a human. So I did a post yesterday where there's an exercise I do every day take your hand and place it somewhere on your chest where you can feel your skin. And at that time, recognize your heartbeat, recognize the temperature of your body, and then realize you are a breathing human being with a perfect soul. And that perfection of that soul is happiness. So you remember when you were little and you would go and you would stand on the scale that had the weights that you had to line up, you know? So you had the one weight that was the balancer, and then the other one had to line up. So when you finally figured out where it's lined up, that's your alignment, okay? But what happens when we don't feel good about ourselves or about others, or we're worried or stressed, the scale isn't in alignment anymore. So in order to get back to that alignment with who we are, we have to be in a place where we are finding joy. So how do I want to be seen? You know, being under the microscope on camera I started modeling at 14 around the world, and then that led to Miss USA, and that led to TV. So constantly I've always been viewed by somebody else. And I think, you know, when you're in that light
and you're aware that you're constantly being
even
assessed.
When I'm at, you know, the Walmart, people are like, hey.
I hate the word judgment, but it's true.
And
worthiness. It's so
and I think the older I get, the more I'm like, yeah, you know what? I actually have a lot of days where I just like toast shit, you know, and I go to Walmart and I don't care, because I've realized like what I'm feeling inside should be reflecting everything you see on this outside. Again, if I'm counting on this little thing to make up for all the junk that I'm not happy with inside, that ain't gonna fly. That's not gonna fly.
Good luck.
So, you know, what do I want? How do I want to be seen? It really matters to me, and I don't care if I'm on camera or if I'm talking to the gal that's taking my order at Chick-fil-A. I want them to know my sincerity. I want them to see the joy that I have in my life and my appreciation for them. I want others to feel a presence about me that says, you know, she's safe. Like, she's a safe place for my heart to be around. For my children, I want them to realize the power of their thoughts. I want them to realize that they have control of planning their life in this moment. You know, it's one thing to have big goals and 10-year goals and so forth, but what matters the most, and cancer taught me this, is right now. Right now is all that matters. Yesterday? Nope. Tomorrow? Nope. Right now. So if you don't find your joy in your right now, you're robbing yourself of happiness. So how do you find that? You know, sometimes people think, well, once I have the dude in my bed or the car in my garage or what, then I'll be happy. Whatever it is.
Money in my bank. Yeah, it's such an inward journey. We have to flip that. I think aging just gives us that gift of, you know, we chase goals and we chase all these aspirations and we feel like we have to make something of ourselves, but really the biggest difference that you can make is showing up with a high vibrational energy, and your impact, the ripple effect of what you will, and the payback from that, once you realize that getting right on your inside and going and again sprinkling the juju everywhere you go, whether it's the Chick-fil-A girl or whatever, and there are so many days where we have so much external stimulation that is going to kill that, like cancer could kill that, a fight with your partner could kill that, feeling like your kid's getting bullied at school could kill that. You know, there's so many things that are weighing on us as a society, and like, how do you just elevate and stay in that high vibe so that you can go and impact the world? Because once you realize that the journey of the inward part of you is the most important and the most impactful, how you are seen and how you are heard and what you will leave people with is far greater than any accomplishment or accolade or whatever. Like, we're not Steve Jobs. We're not leaving, the world with a massive technological advancement. We're just people with two arms and two legs and big beating hearts. And
here's the exercise that I learned through all of this. when I went to my doctor just for a well check, I just casually said, oh, by the way, I think I had a period like a month ago. I mean, I had to go to the store and buy some damn tampons. I was like, I don't even know where that aisle is anymore. I'm so old. And so she, you know, of course, in my heart and in my head, I didn't view it as this is a scary, horrible thing. So I never let that intention in. You know what I'm saying? So then it kind of, as it transpired that it actually was cancer, I, in my bathroom, sat and I thought, girl, you're going to give yourself 2 minutes to feel sorry for yourself, and then we're done. I hadn't called my parents. I hadn't told my kids. I hadn't done any of that. And from that moment on,
oh my God, like
but
sick to my stomach thinking about that moment
Katie,
for you.
I looked in the mirror and I said, whatever's growing in me is not overtaking who I am. It's not becoming me. I'm still me. And so the process of being happy at every moment means, where are you in your thoughts? Now, a lot of times people are like, oh my gosh, like give me something easier to do than try to find happy, you know, just give me a fix and let me just do that. I don't want to do the work on the inside. But you know, really what happens is when you find things in your day, you look out the window and you're like, that is the coolest butterfly I've ever seen. You open your heart. And then more things that you recognize and appreciate, doesn't matter the level of how big or small, that opens your heart to the point that you resist negative thoughts. You resist negative conversation. You really are. And so I got to the point with cancer that I was like, you know what? I don't hate cancer. I'm not going to kick cancer's ass. Cancer is a part of me, but I'm going to allow it to leave with all the good meds that are in me.
Yeah. Well, and resentment is low vibe energy.
It's old news to be.
So if you're inviting resentment into your world and into your body, it's going to lower your.
So I tell my kids, I'm like, you know, if you'll make it every day, you'll make it a mindset to pay attention to what you think about and what you say and what you listen to and what you read, because you ingest all of that anyway. And so you get what you're thinking about. Choose something good. Choose something that makes you feel good. When you feel good and you feel joy and you feel happiness, it doesn't matter the situation around you. It's not going to rattle you. You have moments, but it's not going to change, you know, who you really are.
I just think that's such great advice. You know, we're all going to deal with different losses. I think it's so good to just give yourself like, okay, I'm human. This sucks. I feel terrible right now. I'm going to give myself this much time to feel shitty. And then I'm going to get on with my, you know, I'm gonna
which is another reason I told anybody I had cancer. I told my parents and my kids.
I cannot believe that. Like literally, she's at the end of the journey. She rang the bell, last treatment, and then she tells me. Like,
but you know what? Here's the reason why I did that. I was so in tune with this positivity that I wanted to have the best form of success in overcoming this that I could. And with all the great intentions that people have, a lot of times people want to share who died in their family of cancer, or how many people they know that have cancer, and how sad it is, and how horrible chemo is.
Everyone's a doctor suddenly and are going to prescribe you every homeopathic thing in the whole wide world, and you're just like overwhelmed.
I thought, you know what? And I even told my cute parents from the South who love Jesus more than anybody in the whole wide world. I said, Mom, now listen. When Jesus healed, he healed people because he saw them well. He didn't see them in their sickness. So don't you see me in my sickness either. And they were like, okay, we won't talk about it. And I go, good, because we're going to move on with life. I'll let you know when you need to know something, but we're not talking about this.
Well, that was awesome. That was a beautiful way of connecting with them, acknowledging their value system, but also holding your boundary.
It was like, this is my court. And these are my out of bounds. Yeah, and
this is what's
you know, even to the point when people did know and they'd start sharing stuff, I'd be like, with all due respect, I love and adore you.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's so good.
Okay.
Okay, I have more questions for you. When you were going through because I just think that being in that pageant world, especially in the 80s, like, and going through the hair. we could spend an episode just on the hair, honey. But like when you were going through that process, I think a lot of that, when you're ushered into and this is just a metaphor, a lot of us are ushered into this, like, we all have to look the same, like, and be the same, and you had to be a certain size, and you had to have a certain hair, and you had to wear a certain bathing suit, and it was like, okay, well, hers is green and hers is red and hers is purple, whatever. It's like, how did you hone the skill that was going to allow you to set yourself apart? It's not about superiority or winning necessarily. It's about being able to break from the pack and say, this is who I am. So you kind of have to, like, and what I'm getting at is I really want to tap into those people in the world right now that are kind of still hiding in plain sight. They're kind of sheep. They're this is what's comfortable. Right. This is what I've always known. This is, I'm not pushing a boundary. I'm not executing and being as authentic as I could be. And how do you set yourself apart and still survive under that microscope? So I'm just curious, especially at that young age. It's just they're your formative years, and it's just there's so much in terms of who you are and who you will be. I'm sure there's so many lessons in that experience.
And I look at the girls now that compete, and it's a whole new plane. It's a different ball field because they have social media. So when my daughter competed at Miss USA in 2017, I said, do not get on social media. Don't read anything, good or bad, just don't read it. At such a young age. Yeah. So when I was Miss Texas, my directors were worldwide known. They had created 4 Miss USAs in a row. I was the 5th one coming in. So literally, they could tell you to go eat cat poop, and every girl in the world would go, okay, I'll do,
yeah, right.
And so I
listen to your coach.
My sense of style. That was given to me,
Yeah.
Sausage, you have no waist, you have little hips, so we have to create a look, and this is what you will have at all times. And while I was happy to do whatever they knew what was best, I learned a lot. And my whole year as Miss Texas and Miss USA was all about an appearance, whether I'm in front of somebody at an event or doing an interview. I mean, it really was, what do you look like? Are you worthy of still being Miss USA? Did the judges make the right decision? All this kind of stuff.
Oh my God.
And then pressure cooker. My major sponsor that I had that year was JCPenney. And so back then in the 80s, they're awesome now, but back then in the 80s, it was pretty narrow on the selection of wardrobe that came out of JCPenney. And so now I'm going to go meet President Bush at the White House in my JCPenney suit. But I'm almost 6 feet tall. And I thought, you know what? Like, I don't care what hanger I'm wearing. I don't care what clothes I'm putting on. I am tall, and I'm going to own it. And I'm going to demand respect and attention because of my height. And that is something I can control. So what happened over the years of,
that makes you unique. Yeah. So that's the answer. It's like it doesn't matter really what the extra stuff was. You really had to, again, say what are my gifts?
That kind of led, and I think with any woman and guy too, but as we age, we develop and we find what strikes the chord, what tunes the violin for what we like. And I have found, in my confidence in business, I love tailored clothes. I think being a tall woman, you don't usually wear big clothes. Looks like that.
Oh,
but
no.
then on the other hand, I have a wardrobe. It depends. If I'm going to, I went to Angels Red Sox game the other day, and you know, it's like I'm gonna wear my cutoffs and I'm gonna wear a tank top, and that's what I'm feeling. So I think for women that don't know, or guys that don't know, they don't really know what their style is. Pinterest is your best friend. Go on and make a board of things that you're drawn to. Colors, styles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Gosh, Pinterest was my best friend. When I was getting divorced, I had no money and I had to reinvent my wardrobe and my execution of my style based on of the style that I wanted to have with the clothes that I already had. So it was about shopping from my own closet and not shopping from a store, and figuring out different and more unique ways to put things together in a sort of a surprising, maybe unusual way that felt more authentic to me or more creative. And you're right, Pinterest can be your best friend.
Store and buy from a mannequin, because somebody else has already put that all together. Know what colors you like. Know what colors you're drawn to. Know what fabrics you like. Do you like things flowy? Do you like things more crisp? Do you like cotton?
Yeah.
Do you like comfort?
How do you like
if you're in the comfy mode, find something that's, I mean, that doesn't mean you have to wear like your husband's sweats. Find something that's comfy and stylish. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, you can feel good in your comfy clothes, and they can still be stylish. But I guess what I'm saying, Katie, is it's an evolution. There isn't a one and done. There isn't that style is you.
No.
Yeah.
No. Oh my God. The style that I have now, I am a completely different human than I was 10 years ago. And I think that's really what was the catalyst for me to create this course and to have these conversations, is that I was a people pleasing. I like wore all the shit that my mom would buy me, like no offense to my mom, but like everything that was under the Christmas tree was what was in her closet, right? Not what was in my closet. And so after a while, it just felt fraudulent. I didn't want to dishonor my parents in any way, but I also was like, listen, Mom, I know that you like all this, the pink and the Lily Pulitzer or whatever, but does it come in black? You know, it's just, does it come in black? And because that's more me, you know. And I also think too, I'm curious to know about your height. Like, I know in my case, I've always physically just been a very muscular person. It's just my genetics. And for a long time, I struggled with having a very masculine, like muscular upper body. I remember being in high school and like we would have cheer practice and I'd have like a sleeveless shirt on and I would be like, you know, I just felt so, I don't have like an hourglass figure. I have a very athletic like build in my midsection. You know, I'm built like a hot dog. I'm not built like an hourglass. So, you know, it messed with me for a while until I just said, oh, the hell with it. Like, this is beautiful. You're beautiful exactly that way. And so just own it. And now it doesn't bother me so much anymore. I mean, we all have, you know, we all want to look our best and feel our best, and we all work for that, or, you know, some more than others, but in terms of just priorities or whatever. But at the same time, I kind of got over my phobia of having muscles. You know, so I don't know if your height was ever an issue for you at any point in time.
I had these directors that they were professional dress gown makers. I mean, people came to this from all over the world. They were really good talent of looking at a body shape and knowing how to accentuate what was the best in them and kind of alleviate the worst. So they were the ones that termed my figure the sausage. And meaning Jesus didn't give me a waist. So literally, I'm like a 12-year-old girl with boobs. I just have no waist and no butt. And so, like my Miss USA dress was a married widow covered in fabric, and it was the top of a bra that cinched me in. So everything was illusion. If you think about fashion generally, it's an illusion, right? Whether it's the color, whether it's draping a certain way, it's creating an illusion. So, you know, over the years, especially being in the modeling world, I mean, I was denied a ton of jobs because I don't have a waist. I don't have that typical look, but I could do sport things. I could do things that looked athletic because for some reason, I guess, I guess people aren't supposed to have a waist if you're athletic. I don't know. But anyway, and then I got to the point that I thought, I know how to dress me the way I like, and I can work with what I have. I can work with what I have.
Mm-hmm.
And being 58, I will not, mark my words, at my mouth, I will not give in to, well, this is what happens when you age. No. Mm-mm. Yeah.
Oh yeah. F that. Hey, I don't want to cut you off, but I'm getting a little you're a little scrambled. Guys, if you're watching the feed, can you put a 1 in the chat if Gretchen's a little pixelated and not, because I'm watching the numbers kind of drop off, and I'm wondering if people aren't just able to follow along with what we're saying. You're really pixelated, and the sound that I'm getting is a little so if you guys can help us out and just help us troubleshoot this a little bit, put a 1 in the chat if Gretchen's hard to understand, or maybe it's me.
Let us pray.
At the beginning, it was perfect. At the beginning, it was perfect, but yeah, we're getting some 1s. So I don't know if your connection changed or if you're still on your Wi-Fi. It was fine at the beginning. I don't know. Okay. It just sounds like a crackly, and I'm not getting quite everything. So, Gretchen, I do have more questions for you, but if our connection isn't good, I don't know if we should continue. I don't know. I'm at a loss.
More thing, and then we'll see if people can hear it.
Okay. I would say two things. What advice would you give someone if they felt like they were hiding in plain sight, or that they didn't feel like they were living as authentic to themselves as they could be? What challenge or what thing would you offer them in terms of just a way of breaking free of that? I mean, I think for me in my life, it was just listen, life is messy. I'm going to own my mess. I'd rather be myself than feeling like I'm sort of in the closet a little bit about who I am. So my style changed. I got tattoos. I chopped off all my hair. I started dressing differently. And I felt an immense amount of freedom in that. I knew that it would probably ruffle some feathers and piss some people off. But for me, it was an execution of complete and total freedom, but it wasn't without risk, in my opinion, because I was always worried, what are people going to think? What are they going to say? Again, how am I going to be seen, heard, and what do I want to leave them with? And for me, it was worth the risk. It was worth the risk. I can say on this side of things, it was worth the risk. So in your opinion, what advice would you give someone? And then last thing I want to just ask is, if there's anything that you're promoting in any upcoming projects or anything that you want to talk about, how can I give you the microphone and say, plug yourself?
Just go like this if I'm cutting off and it's not making sense, because I just got it.
It's a little jumbly. I can't really see you clearly at all anymore. You're just a blob of pixels. So I don't know what's going on with your internet, but it's a little
I don't know.
messy.
So I have 3 bars. That's so weird. Oh, I'm so sorry. This happened last time.
Maybe go.
Okay.
Maybe go off your Wi-Fi. Try that and see what happens. Yeah, Amy, I completely agree with authenticity being the key. I'll just read a couple of your comments really quickly and see if we can get Gretchen back, because I do want to wrap up with her and have a good last little conversation. It's about the same.
Okay.
I can hear you. Go ahead and give your advice.
Change is not necessarily comfortable for anybody, and especially when you're doing something you just in your heart you don't want to do. You don't want to be there. You don't want to live there. You don't want to work, whatever it is.
It's so much about listening to yourself.
And it's okay to want to change. I think a lot of times people think, this is what I'm supposed to do. This is what I'm supposed to do, so I have to find happiness in doing it. That isn't what it is. You create your own reality. So you find things that make you happy. And, you know, I did a big shift years ago. I left a religion that shook up a lot of stuff, but it wasn't my happy. It wasn't my happy. And, you know, sometimes I think when you do shake things up, just like, you know, you were saying with your haircut and your tattoos, you have evolved into something, I have evolved into something that feels right to me. And never is my intention to hurt somebody else. So if I left a religion, it was not any intention of mine to hurt somebody to do that or to bash whatever they think. That's not me. That's not my intention. So I think, you know, one of the things that we can do every day, you don't have to have cancer to realize this. You don't have to have a divorce to realize this. You don't have to lose a child. The things you can do every day to really figure out more of who you are, who's inside you, what's inside you, is to live your life in a day of every single day. You find things to appreciate. Whether you're sitting in your car and it's 102 outside, but your air conditioner is blessed and your hairdo all over the place. Can I get an amen? You train your mind to find the good. What happens is you train your mind to find the good not only in you, your life, but other people. When you find the good in you, your life, other people, you start bringing more of that into you. So then you don't actually have time to feel bad about anything. Then all of a sudden, your insecurities are not there anymore. You know, your doubts and fears, they're not there anymore. Your wellness is accentuated. Your beauty has accentuated because you live in a state of, again, that balance of the weight. You're in alignment with what's inside of you. You know, what's inside of us is not sad and angry and jealous. It's not any of that. I don't care what you want to call it or where you think it comes from. It doesn't matter. The truth is we have guidance. The guidance is perfect, but where are we in alignment with it?
This is a random question, but it's just on me like a stink. I watched last night the very first episode of the Arnold documentary on Netflix. Have you seen that? Have you watched it? Just the first episode is him becoming the athlete. Guys, if you're on the call right now and you've seen this, put a 1. Fascinating mental capacity. I mean, he knew, he had vision, he had belief, he had unwavering, like, this is who I'm going to be, this is what I'm going to become. If this guy can do it, I can do it. And he did not allow anything, literally anything. He would just sit in his bed at night and just vision. He could see it happening. He could see the crowd of people cheering him on. He saw it before it happened. And it was just so fascinating because here's what that tells me. And this is what my course is about. There is a tiny you that is buried deep within your gut that has a very small microphone that says, this is what I desire. This is what I want. These are my likes and dislikes. It's very clear to this small you, right? You could put an outfit or someone on a red carpet and the person that's way deep down inside your gut, you're like, hate that, love that, hate that. It's clear as day. It's because when that you comes up through your mouth, it goes through all these filters of like, oh God, I can't say that. That would ruffle some feathers. Would piss some people off. This is that. And that I would never dare to say that. But he did not he gave that voice inside of him a megaphone. And he let that be exact. And he had to walk away from his parents who were abusive. He had to basically like erase his brother from his mind. He said, I'm going to America. This is where my home is. I feel called to be there. Like everything about his whole journey was him visioning, and he just had this organic sense of who he was, and he listened to himself. And I just think it was so fascinating because here's a guy that's just born, we're all the same genetic biology. I mean, all of us humans, we're all the same. And so it was he just had this vision. And so I just think that is so powerful.
Dr. Wayne Dyer said, when you believe it, then you will see it. Where so many times people are like, oh, yeah.
And it's like, if you can see this you that exists in the future, if you can continue to be pouring into what that vision of who you want to become is, there's nothing standing in your way. So, but I think that the first thing is listening to you, the little person. You have to listen. And if you're just like, oh, whatever, I don't pay attention to you, or you stuff that down, or you suppress that, you're never going to get there.
And
never.
Pulling this all back into the campfire that we're enjoying right now, you know, when you find these patterns in your life, in your daily life, that create your joy, doesn't have to be something. It's a feeling. It's a feeling. And when you have that joy, then you're in a place that you're allowing more in. And that is the time that you daydream. That is the time that you think and find yourself. Where do I want to be? What's important to me? How do I see it? How do I feel it? See it in your mind, feel it in your heart, and then let it happen. Don't try to make it happen.
I think one of the biggest tools to getting to that point too is offering yourself time to listen, time to daydream, people always say, oh, I have all my best ideas in the shower. You want to know why that is?
Yeah.
Because we're not trying to do 16 other freaking things at the same time. We're just in there shampooing our hair or whatever it is. And like, we suddenly have all this open space to think, where everything else, we are just constantly like, you know, being the monkey mind. So people that find success and have great success are ones that have meditation practices, or, you know, they take time to, I've been cold plunging recently, and the 10 minutes that I'm in that cold plunge, I'm thinking, I'm not distracted by a million other things. And so when you allow yourself time to listen to the little voice, and you develop a practice and a habit of doing that, things will get really clear.
Go outside, put your feet
on
tool. The ground,
in nature, absolutely.
With nature, and whatever that is. If you're in a city, it doesn't matter. Take some time to go out there, take in deep breaths, and just realize where you are. I'm a part of this world. This is amazing. You know, this is really amazing. What am I doing now? Okay, so.
How can I plug you?
So I am still finishing up my book. My book is called My Gift of Cancer. And it's not a book about what I went through. It's a book about what I learned. And I'm super excited to get that going. And then I actually wrote a reality television series that's being pitched that I'm super passionate and excited about. So,
that's cool.
I just
such a superstar.
Every day's a good day, Katie. Every day's a good day. You know, it's just, even when, you know what, I surround myself with really good people, and they come to me and I go to them, and that's happiness, you know, that's happiness. And I have loved my year knowing you. I just really, you know, when people are confident and when people have passion and strengths in areas that you want more of, you get that. You can actually get that from, you know, make social media a good thing. Make social media a chance to be a voice and a place and a face that brings people to a place they feel better, or they have hope, you know. It isn't about selling the makeup. It isn't about you and my life in front of everybody. You know, look at my dog.
I think we all have that opportunity to kind of be the antidote of the like cesspool that is social media, that and the way that some people view it. Like, we can be that different, a different feeling. We can lead people differently.
You know,
so you're certainly a supernova in my life, and I'm so grateful for you just being in my life, and also for you sharing today. By the way, you're back, you're completely clear, and everything's good. It's all good. So thank God. Little technology glitch, but nothing we can't handle.
Your nails look good, girl. We were talking last night.
No,
must have been.
Oh, thank you.
I'm like, Katie, what are you doing?
I know.
She goes, I'm doing my nails. And
I said I get a little, I'm always hyper aware that, you know, if I'm doing my makeup or something, that my hands are in the camera and that you see them. And so if they just look
I'm
janky,
in the
then
stage.
I'm like, I can't. They're my hands.
Stage.
So yeah, so cute. Barbie core. Oh, girl, I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. Thanks for being here. You're such a gift to so many people. You're just so inspiring. And thank you so much for being here.
It was my surprise and delight of the day. So thank you. Thank you, guys.
Okay. All right. Thanks, everybody. I'll see you next time.